I was muted. Hi. Don't mind me, I'm just caffeinating before we get started. I will be, I just need some caffeine. Oh, chat is really tiny. Oops. Didn't expect it to be that small. Fix that. There we go. Also have to step out for a second and go grab one that I was priming earlier. It's outside. For some reason this camera always defaults to me being super orange. So I have to fix it 100% of the time. Yep, that's the goal. Is it? I had to turn my mic down because I didn't want a bunch of background noise. Tell me if that improves anything. Because when I'm painting, I'm going to be significantly closer to it. Why didn't my camera go back? Whatever, I don't care. I'm just going to be orange and I'm going to deal with it. Or I can just turn the music down overall. Sweet. Okay. That'll do me for the time being. Desk is an absolute disaster, so I don't really have anywhere to put coffee. It's a travesty. Alright, I'll switch over here. Figure out a good way to configure it. Oh gosh. Okay. So, the plan is to be doing a couple different things. We can't get away from it. Which armies specifically? Are we talking about like the separatist droids? Or are we talking... Headlines are escaping me off the top of my head. It's been a minute. I've been actively removed from Star Wars lore for so long. Oh, the AI. It wouldn't last. The Imperium would make sure that it does not exist. Those are going. Oops. Alright. So, today, probably going to start working on this Terminator. He's not a lord or anything. He's a kit bash from the Chaos Terminators kit and the Tartaros Terminators. If my camera will focus, there we go. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I need to pull something up over here. It would be fun, but also disastrous. Because I don't see it going well. Period. Alright, why is this not pulling up? We're just gonna do okay, it's working now. Kind of. Why am I not able to do what I was doing before? Oh, wait. I might know what I'm doing wrong. Open public wardrobe, just one of those would be the size. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The issue with that is I believe 40k Knights wouldn't have programming to hold them back. Quite the contrary, they would have extreme prejudice. Okay. I think this is how I should do it. Yep, that's how this works. Cool. Cool. All right. So, I'm going to be going between 3 different things, maybe 4. I got to go outside for a minute, probably in a little bit, and grab the model I was priming earlier. But this is a Raptor that I kit bashed. He's a World Eater Raptor, since World Eaters cannot take anything good. So I'm just running my World Eaters as CSM and gave them a Raptor, and I have a Raptor squad and I've never painted them. So we're going to finish basing this dude tonight, while simultaneously base coating this dude, who is my Sternguard veteran from my Sons of Sorrow. So we will be base coating him so he will be ready to go. And then, following all that, we're going to get to work on this Terminator for the Fervent Storm. So, that is my goal. And to fight another one of those bastards. Well, I think your chances of survival are a little higher than they would be fighting a knight. Well, I guess that depends on the knight. I don't know enough knight named characters. I really want a knight, but I would be really intimidated to paint it. So, we're gonna start with the, actually leave him on the handle. We're gonna start with the quickest thing, then go to the slightly slower thing, and then get to the painting thing. So we'll start with the basic. So I'm going to take a piece of corkboard, which has been my new favorite basing supply. I need to update my super glue supply too. And we are going to just make a little pool right there with the super glue. Take off a little chunk of this here. And take the cork and just smash it there. I don't expect anything other than stupid comments. I would be more thankful if there were questions to follow, but I understand if there aren't. There's some empty space back here, so I might add another, maybe. Or should I just add some more? Actually, we'll do a little bit of a layered thing. It's always fun to do that. Oof. That might work. And we'll do that. Take off a couple pieces here. Either or. I mean, you're the chatter. As long as you're not throwing racial slurs or degrading me morally and emotionally, I think we're okay. Alright, so placing these two together. Start with this one as our base here. And yes, I know I should have primed after the base was done, but I primed these long ago before I started actually putting any effort into my bases. Even that kind of looks like trash. But the best part about the cork is we can just tear some of it off to make it flush. Flush, for any of you kids who didn't grow up as carpenter children, means the edges line up with each other. Explain how the heck a chainsword works in 40k. It looks so impractical and would be prone to wear and tear. Yeah, they are. And even the community is hyper aware that chainswords are extremely impractical, but they are extremely badass. They function just as a normal chainsaw. They use promethium fuel, and they have triggers on their handles that rev them. But there's mentions in the book, or in the books all the time, about how teeth break, or the chain breaks, or if it ends up like jamming, which is a frequent occurrence, then they just use it as a sharp club, or they throw it aside completely. Chainswords are just the cool factor of 40k. Very much rule of cool. But honestly, I prefer power swords. But because this guy is a world eater, he refuses to use power swords because they like chainsaws, because they like gore. That's their thing. I'll be honest, bases and terrain is the best part for me. I love making terrain pieces. I just don't spend much time on terrain pieces. I haven't gotten brave enough for full-on terrain pieces, but I subscribe to a bunch of people who make them. These people using endless amounts of styrofoam, stuff like that. Like, bases are a miniature version of that, and I can be proud of those. So, alright, so we're going to come in here. I haven't decided what kind of landscape I'm going to have on this squad. Usually I try to line up the landscapes with some of their lore, but then sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. So if I were to ever put them in an army, then, and I was playing against someone, it would be more likely to fit in that situation, I suppose. I don't know. Typically it's the lore. And since he's a member of my Putrid Maw war band, he has been in urban environments, he's been in factorial environments. There has been a frequency of no, they were not the Outburn Purge. You know what? Let me pull up my notes. So the chain weapons are just another chance for games. To splatter blood on the Space Marine. Precisely. You'll notice if you look at any of my models, if any of them are wielding chain swords, except for the Loyalists, because I like for them to be kind of grimy and dirty, not bloody and dirty. If any of my Chaos Marines have chain swords or chain axes, because that's also a thing with Chaos, then they will have blood. There will be blood splattered all over them. And it will be awesome. And it's incredibly canon for the World Eaters. Because, fun fact, the World Eaters used to have white and blue armor until they pledged themselves to Khorne. And no one knows if they officially changed their paint job or their white armor just became so badly bloodstained that it changed the color entirely. I know, I am ashamed. Listen. I had a lot to do leading up to this moment. And yes, I am making excuses, and I don't care. Let's see. Not Warband Organization, although that's very simple. Not Warband Beliefs. Also very simple. Where are notable conflicts? Just saw it and I scrolled past it. Oh yeah, the Massacre of Jamlin. That was a very snowy environment. And Boothloom, that's the factorial area. That was more of a Prometheum refinery. Oh, those are the only two I have written for them. All my others have like 4 or 5. But I haven't put as much thought into these guys' lore because they're World Eaters, so they're very, very simple. Blood, skulls. Only my guys are also sick with Nurgle's spores. Second option is more badass. Drenched in so much blood that your clothes are changed colors. Yeah. Yeah, and that's my headcanon of what actually happened. Because it tracks. I mean, they were known as the raging berserkers of the Imperium. More so than others, you know. Alright, is this in a place that I am happy with it? Yeah, I'm good with that. Alright. So, he's based. I might as well base the whole squad while I'm here, I'm not gonna lie. Promethium. I've actually looked up the definition of what promethium is, and it is an overarching definition to just mean fuel of any type, any variety. Grandpapa, yes. Grandpapa. I've written up that they were infected with a strain of nurgle spores called bone spores, because they protrude directly from the bones and then emerging out the flesh. And you can actually look at some of my other models that I did some converting with and do some things. I just realized that I didn't put in the description that I'm also painting or modeling. I should probably add that. Yes, dishonor everywhere. Okay. Yeah, I might as well just do the whole squad, shouldn't I? I'll do that. Dishonor on my fat cat. I don't even know where he is right now. He was up here a second ago. Okay, now you've angered the minis. They're not minis, they're models. That happen to be miniature, but we ignore that fact. Alright, so here's the rest of the squad. I'm just going to go ahead and base them all. So... we will start with Chain Axe Man here. I need to figure out who their champion is so I can actually input them into my list. Alright, we're only going to do one rock here. Rocco. Rock them all over here. Are you referring to everything being small? Chainsword? Yeah. Yes, it is. It's kind of awesome. Focus. There we go. Yeah, I'm here for it. You haven't seen the freaking custodian spears, have you? Those things are incroyable because they're spears. Actually, technically, they're more of halberds. Wait, no. A glaive. They're a glaive. Glaives are the ones with the blades on the end. It's a glaive with a bolter inside it. Just cuz. Oops. That's fine. It'll go the other way. That's too much glue, but it's fine. Fix it in post. When this stabby stab isn't enough. Precisely. Yeah, I never got that. Mostly because I never saw it used on a lightsaber. Alright, this dude might need two. He seems like a two-rock kind of guy. He's also kind of got the skull thing underneath there. My camera would focus. 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 There. See the skull? Tear off this ledge. Someone let the artificer cook without supervision. I got a big rock here. We're gonna stick a little rock. Okay, I guess we're going that low. That's fine. Stick it right here. Way too much glue. Alright, you, sir. You're a one rock kind of guy. Some of those blades on the old side don't make me think they were ready for a brawl. Or something happened to their sabers. Yeah, Malguses especially. Like, what's up with that? Were you expecting to, like, chop a steak with it? This is just one example I can think of off the top of my head. No, wait, what are you doing? This is my Warhammer talk. You're making me talk about Star Wars, man. Yeah, put that on a t-shirt. If I had merch, which I don't. Actually, it would look better on a mug. Cheesecake. Some might consider it unethical. Now this boy. I got the perfect amount of glue here. That rarely ever happens. Oh, so rarely. I like it when they add the little terrain bits already attached to their feet, and then you can just blend them into whatever you're doing. It's pretty convenient sometimes. Sometimes. Other times you're like, that looks absolutely terrible. Like, he has city streets underneath his feet, and I'm over here making a lush forest. I'm actually not making a lush forest. I don't have the supplies to make a lush forest. I have a lot of rocks. A lot of rocks. That's why everything I do is either rocky desert or rocky desert. Oh, and lava. I do a lot of lava too. One rock kind of guy, Mug. I don't think that alternate universe exists. Them using a rock or just their fist? Well, it depends. Considering they can throw things at Mach velocities, but also being up close. Oh gosh, sorry, camera. Sorry. I mean, both the Astartes film and the Secret Level episode portrayed the absolute sheer strength of an unaltered Astartes. And I think it was done very, very, very well. And it was book accurate, which is all I really care about. Now, some of that was augmented by the armor, because the armor does have its own servos that add an extra layer of strength. These are jump packs. So these are a unit called Raptors. So in the GW Raptors kit, you can make Raptors or what's the name? Dread Talons, right? Or is that the detachment? I forget now. I'm gonna look. I believe it's Dread Talons. 80% sure that's right. Warp Talons. That's it. Dread Talon is the detachment for CSM. Warp Talons. So, yes, these are jump packs. They're Chaos jump packs, and they are Chaos enhanced. So they actually have terrifying screams whenever they're descending. Much like the Messerschmitt did with its siren. I know, I had to double check. The Warp Talons, they are not your average Chaos Space Marines. They're enhanced by the warp so they can like teleport and also be a lot scarier. They are like the unit for the Night Lords, because Night Lords inflict fear. That's kind of their shtick. Oh, yeah, Stuka. I did know that. I knew that. I just didn't know it off the top of my head. Because you know what permeates the surface of my brain power? This. I should know that because I was just looking up clips for the audio the other day for the soundbite that I made. Because I went through a lot of clips listening to that siren. And then to follow that, I wanted clips of the Mustang flying over. Also equally terrifying. No, the 262 was the jet. We didn't... I didn't cover that. I didn't search for audio of that. I just wanted the siren from the Stuka. Now, if the terrain feature on their feet has any extra details, like a skull or where's the other one? Oh, this one has the Mark 7 helmet. Then I want to do my best to steer clear from that, so I don't cause any issues. Any Warhammer aircraft use psychological tactics? I mean, orcs, yes. Pretty much anything you can think of chaos related. It's not specifically aircraft, it's usually just their presence. Especially the Night Lords, because they like being scary. And they do it very, very, very well. Yes. Wow. The correct translation is wow. Hi, Dakota. Once these things are dry, I can seal them, and then after I seal them, I can base coat them too. Things already aren't going as planned, but it's nobody's fault but my own. You're sad. Well, they did obliterate those orcs from the first game. That was mostly due to the Aurora project that went down. I'm sure I could find you a used orc army, because I know you don't have the patience to paint them. I just need somebody to start a guard army and start writing lore with me, so my guys can have like a buddy guard army. I would be okay with that. I just need somebody to start writing lore with me in general. they have more at home. Well, I think their home is just wherever they decide it is. If by home you mean a hole in the ground, gestating and waiting to emerge, then yes. Who needs patience? I know you have no patience. Or an attention span, for that matter. Rex slips through a chaos portal and starts his guard army. I would love to see that. Heck, let's do that. I have the power. I do have control literally over his entire life. Hey, I have some if you want to buy them. I have a bunch of Necrons that are pre-painted. And I have a bunch of Tyranids that are painted. So if you want them, you just pay me for them. The Tyranids are not painted. They are primed, but they are not painted. Primed and based, for that matter. I have one of them painted because I was doing a test scheme if I decided I wanted to do Tyranids. But I'm not a fan of Tyranids. Necrons are okay, but I don't know. I don't like Xenos. Period. Specifically, I don't like Eldar. But that's just me. Rex goes bet. The question is, how would the regiment turn out? What would their style of warfare be? Shoot, where would they be from? What would be their planetary culture? Those are a lot of things you have to think. How do they play? I have no idea. This is something I said in the last stream. And you should know this too. I've never played a full game of 40k, ever. I know a lot about the game. But I've never actually, played a full game. Our little games don't count. I know some things about Necrons and their stratagems and some of their units, but I don't really know enough to matter. Pretty much everything I know is human. So, Guard, Chaos Space Marines, and Loyalist Space Marines. He finds out Orphelia's trapped in the warp or something. I mean, she kind of is, when you think about it. My politics have dissolved into Hammer. We did that. Oh yeah, Orphelia wouldn't last. She would immediately depart the living. Probably because sorcery. Unless she tried to convince everyone that she was a Sister of Battle. Which I could see her trying. But she's also an elf, so she would get pinned as an Eldar. So she would be an Eldar sorcerer. Which definitely wouldn't go over well. Oh wait, what am I doing? I need to add some more up there. That would make the best sense, ya doy. Unless she makes friends with the orcs and help with their paintings. False. The orcs just want to fight. That's it. That is their sole philosophy. Fight until there's no more fighting, and then find some more fight later. It's probably too much glue, but it's fine. Space Marine Adventures of Ophelia. Like I said, I don't think she would last unless she was like affiliated with Yvraine, because she's about the only Eldar that the Imperium can handle. And it's not even the Imperium as a whole, it's basically just Gilliman. Because, you know, the whole goth waifu thing. But we don't have to talk about that, because that's just a meme. No one actually acknowledges that. How often do the orcs fight amongst themselves? All the time. It's a very frequent occurrence. But it's not a hindrance to them as a faction. Simply because they like it so much, they don't care who they're fighting. So if someone else shows up, then they'll fight them too. That looks janky, but I don't care. The two rock guy is rocking his two rocks, I guess. I just realized there is no chat. Why there be no chat? Oh, that's why. Because the box isn't playing yet. Rockin' stove. Yes, I am ashamed of my unending failure. Well, mine was just hiding behind the box. Because you couldn't see the Instagram handle. It just kind of blended in. Alright, so these guys are all based. And now, wait for them to try and seal them. So next, we will base coat this dude as soon as I get back. Because I'm going to go outside and grab the one that I primed earlier for my Terminus Knights. And I'll show you guys him, because I'm kind of proud of him, because he took a lot of conversion work. So, I'm going to leave you all here, and I'll be right back. If anybody shows up, tell them not to leave. Okay, I'm back. Does anybody need to be banned? Oh boy, okay. Leo Rock would become a Damon Prince. Rock may end up in the next. In the mood to download a 40k game? Well, Space Marine 2 was on sale, but now it's not. At least I don't think it is. I'm almost finished with the campaign, by the way, and it's kind of incredible. But ready for your CPU or your GPU to absolutely hate the final planet. Because I'm getting like 12 frames a second just by being there. Not even doing anything. Doesn't matter how many models are there, how many background assets there are. It's not going to run flawlessly. Or you could get Rogue Trader. Rogue Trader's fun. Alright, so. This is the dude that I converted. Probably needed some more primer, but I don't care. He's got enough. So this was my... it was a standard intercessor in one of the heroes kits, and I ordered him because he was only $10 for his sprue. And I was like, yeah, I can make him a named character, and I happen to have the right base, a spare base just lying around, so I can cut off his base because he had a standard small unit base. And so yeah, I cut that down. I gave him a different arm. I put a communications apparatus on top of his power pack. Little kit bashing there. Gave him a different right arm. He's officially going to be a lieutenant with combi weapon. So his combi weapon is a bolter with a plasma rifle underneath, which is kind of incredible. I happen to have a couple of those from my Sternguard Veterans box, and then I used this cool pauldron that was also from the Sternguard Veterans box, and I used this beaky helmet that's also from the Sternguard Veterans box, and then I used these leftover dual knives I had from my Incursored kit. So yeah, and I thought he was cool because he's actively throwing a grenade, so I wasn't going to complain. Naked characters get bigger bases. No, but named characters get bigger bases. There are units in the game that are known as as characters. That's what they're called. So they're your lieutenants, your ancients, your officers, special units. And yeah, they take bigger bases. Terminators take bigger bases. Your standard battle line units use these smaller bases. And these Raptors, they're not even battle line. But the bigger squad units typically use those. So I put a bigger base on him. And then this dude that I'm going to start painting here in a sec, hopefully. He has a bigger base because he's a Terminator. But if this guy is combi weapon, or lieutenant with combi weapon, so he can't technically lead a unit because he does a lot of lone operator stuff. But if he were to lead a unit, he would be easily identifiable because he has a bigger base than the others. This is a smoke grenade, I believe. You can tell he doesn't have any frag grenades on the model himself, but the smoke grenades have the smooth outline to them, and then the frag grenades are divoted. So, yeah, I thought it was a cool pose, so I got the model, and then I kit bashed it, and now he's a lieutenant. For my Terminus Knights. So, let us see. So I'll put these guys off to the side so I can remember to seal their bases. I'm gonna have to do that. Probably won't get to it tonight because it'll take them a while to dry. But that's a lot more than I expected to get done. I'll just stick them over here next to my Eidolon book. Put them away later. Because I'm lazy and I don't want to get up. Alright, so probably going to end up base coating both of these guys. This is the sergeant for my Blade Guard veterans. I wanted to start with him. And since he's a sergeant, he's probably going to get a name and a little bit of lore within my Sons of Sorrow. I usually try to do that with ranking characters. Or ranking models. Probably gonna need some more of that later. Well, I guess. Are you talking like philosopher? Or are you talking specifically like the Asian influence? Because there's a lot of Asian influence in especially Xenos races. I guess it could be Jagatai, but the White Scars are Mongolian. Or at least that's how they're based. So that would make a lot of sense. He carries the Oriental motif. So there are, there's different helmets that come with different marks of armor, but there are some units that have their own specific type of helmet. So this guy's a Blade Guard veteran. The Ultramarines that you saw in the Secret Level episode were Blade Guard veterans. They carry a much more knightly aesthetic because, they're Blade Guards, so they use swords. That's more of their thing. But since my Sons of Sorrow are a Codex compliant, mostly Codex compliant chapter, they use the red helmet for their sergeants. But they do things a little differently for their veterans. So he has the standard veteran silver over his entire armor except for his pauldron linings. And he has the red stripe on his helmet, which will signify that he is a veteran sergeant. Oh boy. Dang it, now I have to monitor myself. Stop talking about her. I guess views are views. Permeating with the inside jokes. Yeah, we're the only ones who understand it. On the outside looking in. No, I might just base coat the whole squad so those guys are done. You're making me an overachiever here. He is basically a shadow. That's actually what I'm doing. Whenever you base coat a model black, or use black primer, I don't have any black primer. Whenever you actually go for the real colors, or the color coats, all of your recesses, so all of your areas that would be shadowed, have shadow. It makes it darker. So it adds a layer of depth that wouldn't otherwise be possible. That would be a Raven Guard. They carry that aesthetic. They're blackened emo boys. Or even the Templars. I mean, the Black Templars have a little bit of white. The scary thing about Raven Guard is they are absolutely silent whenever they move. And not because of any training or warp augmentation or psyker stuff. It's solely because they take measures to make their armor more stealthy. So they'll pad the joints, they'll find a way to lower the hum of the power pack. Here's the save to click off of Walter. Yeah. So that is one of my complaints. Just because I'm around small motors a lot. Whenever a chainsword revs up in any film or media where a chainsword is present, it sounds exactly like a two-stroke chainsaw. But have you seen how big chainswords actually are? It should sound so much beefier. Making a ton of, yeah, it would be. And I think I haven't seen a whole lot of Primaris Raven Guard. Of course, I don't think anyone really plays Raven Guard. Not that I've seen anyway. I haven't seen a whole lot of Raven Guard models. But when I do see them, they're usually in older marks of armor. So it would make sense for armor to be passed down, and then with each generation, augmenting that armor as it's passed down. Okay, he's base coated. I'm just gonna get the other two and base coat them. Two-stroke chainsword, terrible. I know, and that's one of my complaints whenever they're portrayed in media. Like, you gotta beef that thing up. Either pitch it down, or like layer 2 or 3 on top of each other in the audio, but that's just me being an audiophile, which I know that I am. Bottle of black is almost empty. All right. I don't usually worry about too much thickness with the base coat either, because a lot of the time it's mostly just water, because I water it down so it flows into the recesses a little better. So when it dries, it tends to look a little better when it adheres. It should sound beefy. It's got a bunch of... Exactly. Like, if you're chopping through ceramite, you want it to sound like it. But I guess that's just me. Like, I noticed it in the Secret Level episode, and I noticed it in both Space Marine 1 and Space Marine 2, that it just doesn't sound right. Like, it sounds like a chainsaw revving, but it sounds like a chainsaw revving. It doesn't sound bigger. Like, they got the visuals down, just not the audio. But I am probably one of the few people who actually noticed that. Just the RPMs you're gonna need. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you know, visually, they can. They have it. They have that power. But they lose out on it in the sound design. But I guess, what's his name? Sayama? He was the guy who made Astartes, right? Sayama Peterson? I guess that wasn't really a concern. He was more in it for the visual appeal, which he did very well. Like, extremely well. Like, better than anyone else in the game. So I'm not complaining about that. Just a little more effort in the sound design. Particularly chainswords. The sound design is great. Alright. I need to shut up because I'm just complaining too much. You assumed it was just because of the setting. No, it wasn't the setting. It's just the sound design. Because everyone's like, ooh, that's what a chainsaw should sound like. Well, I've been around a lot of chainsaws in my life, and they all do sound like that, but they wouldn't cut quite like that. Remember, I started using chainswords in the shorts. Maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm just thinking of the first one, or the secret level episode. Did they use any in the trailer? I don't remember. For the second one. It is. But it's supposed to. It's supposed to have the power to dig through ceramite to get to the flesh underneath. And it does. Hello to anyone else here. As I explained earlier, I'm just doing some shoddy base coating work before actually painting some models, and I might just end up doing that tonight. We'll see. I was doing some basing earlier, so if anyone is interested in that, you'll have to go back and watch it later because I already did it. I mean, I do have plenty more models that need base, but you wouldn't want to carry it. Well, again, that goes back to the strength of Astartes in general, and what they can wield in one hand. Now, there are chainswords that are issued to guard, but they are not even half the size of what is issued to an Astartes. Back of this shield and then start base coating the base. Well, it's not even just the steroids, it's the fact that they're barely even human anymore. The augmentations both to their genetics and their physicality gives them that ability. Sorry, that's just the actually nerd coming out. He tends to come out every once in a while. I'm not wearing glasses or I'd shove them up my nose. But yes, they are very strong boys. They do carry strong, requiring things. I don't have any guard models, or I'd set them side by side and you would see the disparagement. Which I should really crack down on getting some guard at some point, because I would love to have some. Just cause. Probably wouldn't build an army out of them, but I'd like a Bane blade. That'd be awesome. Where do they get the extra lungs from? Probably that grown would be my assumption. I know the other organs that they have are usually artificial. And the third lung, I mean, it functions as a filter, basically. They have a lot of poison filtering. They have a gland, I can't remember what it's called, I think it's in their stomachs, that filters out poison, so they can eat literally anything and not get poisoned. They have poison filtration systems in their helmets. They have the lung, which keeps them from being poisoned. So there are a lot of preventative measures for being poisoned. Aren't they supposed to have an extra lung and a heart? Yes. So they have 3 lungs and 2 hearts. The third lung is a filter. The second heart is just a backup heart. That's all it is. So if one stops for some reason, then they can rely on the other one. And they do function in sequence with each other. So they have alternate beat patterns. So they are constantly working. It helps with blood flow. So they can react faster. It helps with brain processing. Basically just a lot of compensation. Many, many measures of innate poison resistance. The man in black would be jealous. Alright. Third one. For some reason, blade guards only come in squads of 3, but stern guards come in squads of 5. Still don't understand that. I mean, I know it's a points thing, because blade guards have a lot. They do a lot better in the tabletop than stern guards do. And that's a balancing thing because they are blade guards, so they use swords, so they're a close range melee unit. Whereas stern guards use a lot of range stuff. That's alright. I wasn't expecting a lot of views tonight anyway. Being in the middle of the week and all. Probably going to be doing it again Sunday night. That's my goal. I can foresee a few more views then. Biscotti's sword. Biscotti's arm. I don't think anyone is here from my stream the other night. Well, except for Raincloud, but I was attempting to up the production quality a little bit. With the time I had. So any feedback on that would be greatly appreciated. I think I did aight. As soon as these dudes are base coated, I'm probably gonna base coat this lieutenant over here too. If this were a recorded video, this is where I would go to the speed painting montage. Except I don't have speed paint, so that wouldn't actually work. I would just make it go really, really, really fast. Probably try to cut the stream off in about 20 minutes or so, because I do have a life I gotta get back to, unfortunately. But these are a lot of the harder steps. Or, they're not the harder steps, but they're the more tedious steps. Just because you gotta do it to every single model. Unless you have a primer of the correct color, and then you don't have to worry about it, but I don't. Should probably get on that. But I use rattle can primers, and they make things just a little bit more difficult to get things exactly right, because I'm too cheap for an airbrush, and I don't know if I have the skill for an airbrush. But it's fine. Everything's fine. I don't mind this step, honestly. Because once you base everything one unified color, it really brings the model together. Especially whenever you're converting and you're kit bashing things and things just don't look like they fit right. Once everything has a uniform color, it just brings everything to the place it should be. Watering this black down a little bit to fill the recesses. I don't care if my edges are a little bit lighter because that saves me from having to dry brush. I doubt there will be much dry brushing on these guys. Maybe on the base, but that's about it. Hair in the paint there. That would have made things interesting. Hairy Marines doesn't really sound appealing. I mean, I guess you have Space Wolves. They're about as hairy as it gets. Because they are Marines if they were on testosterone. Let me rephrase. More testosterone. I haven't fully decided on how I'm going to do these bases yet. I attempted to use some sprue as like fallen bits of rubble. Their shape kind of conveys like carved stone. I don't know what I want to do with that yet. I don't know what to experiment with that yet. If anybody has any ideas, I'm all for it. Or I'll just look through my lore doc and see if I can do anything that I haven't done already. That is a possibility. Because I've done lava, and I've done the desert. What are the others I've done? Oh, and I've been working on the Necron Tomb World base for my Terminus Knights, because that was one of the biggest campaigns that I've ever written. It wasn't even really a campaign, but it kind of introduced them to my Sons of Sorrow chapter. Hey, what's up, Colton? Who's my favorite? Are we talking canon or non-canon? Because non-canon, I mean, if I had to pick my own, it would probably be all four of my own, but that is my bias coming through. The Necron base was kind of fun, even though I'm not a Necron guy. It was mildly entertaining. Because I did it for some of my Terminus Knights. It wasn't their first campaign, but it was definitely one of their larger ones, where a planet got absolutely destroyed. Both? Good question. I gotta say, I mean, if you individualize each chapter of Marines, I mean, everybody already knows the Lamenters are my boys. That's why I made a whole successor chapter for them. And subsequently the Blood Angels, because I like Blood Angels and who they are and how they work. But I don't know. I think I've already solidified my love of the Lamenters. And probably the Iron Hands too, because the Terminus Knights are Iron Hand successor. So there's that. Yeah, I'd have to go with that. I mean, unless you want to go heretical and talk chaos, and then absolutely the Iron Warriors, simply because of their aesthetic and Perturabo. Purdy Boy is often annoying, but he gets things done, and you feel for him as a character, because he's just that kind of guy. Excuse me, I'm refilling my paint here. I gotta say, because I know you, and I know you're an Emperor's Children guy, I've seen a ton of people painting up the new Emperor's Children models, because the box came out, which would be the most affordable way to buy Emperor's Children models. I'm not gonna do it because I'm not an Emperor's Children guy, but there's some sweet paint jobs out there. Unfortunately, well, I guess it's not unfortunate, but in canon, they're all purple. And I don't really understand why they're pink now. That's something that's eluded me. I really don't have an explanation for that. That's just how they're portrayed on the box art and how people are painting them. Unless people are painting, is it the Flawless Host that's pink and white? I don't remember now. I don't know my Emperor's Children warbands. I know there's one or two that are specifically pink. The best warriors. I mean, that's subject to interpretation. I will say I'm still working my way through the Eidolon book. I read some more of it last night. And not only were they described as purple, but they were not messing around. No spoilers, but they wrecked face. To put it simply. And it's strictly, well, not strictly, it's also because of their survival, but mostly because of the pleasure of it. The quote-unquote stimulation of war. Their words, not mine. They're some kinky dudes. That is for sure. Good reason to fight just for the stimulation. Sure. I mean, I guess that's all you can think about if you're bound to Slaanesh. It's interesting reading it because this is, I mean, outside of Horus Rising, this is my first heresy book that's not technically during the heresy. It's kind of as it's beginning to conclude because they're on their way to the Siege of Terra. But it's interesting to see how far they've fallen, because you see them in Horus Rising, and then in the Eidolon book they have just absolutely given themselves over to Slaanesh, and they're aware of it. And it just kind of brings things into perspective about how appealing it was to them. But at the same time, Eidolon can't stand Fulgrim. Because Fulgrim to him is just a pretty boy. He thinks he's petty, and he thinks he just wants to fight for his own endeavors. He doesn't care about well, and this is all according to Eidolon, he doesn't care about the gods. He doesn't care about his sons at all anymore. And he chopped off Eidolon's head. So, you know, there's that. I'm really excited to paint this dude. I might actually paint him next, but that'll probably have to wait until our next stream, which as of right now is going to be taking place on Sunday. That may change, or I just may get so excited that I just paint him at my next free moment. But that may also not be until Sunday, so we shall see. I was excited to paint this Terminator, but I don't know, something about this dude is kind of appealing. I also need to paint my captain that I have over there. He had to do it. You're right, it is better than no stimulation at all. That's there's a funny story about the Carcharodons, and they had taken an Eldar prisoner, and they attempted torturing him with stimulation. And it was a Dark Eldar, so Drakari. And they tried to torture him by, you know, waterboarding him, filling his cell with sewage, just the whole nine. And they could not break in because he just wanted more and more and more because Drakari, they love their stimulation, good, bad, and in between. But what eventually broke him was they locked him in his cell and opened a window out into space. And the Carcharodons, they typically traverse the area of the galaxy that is either above or beneath the galaxy itself. So theoretically, there are no stars. It's just an endless black void. And they can still navigate in the galaxy. I mean, that's not an issue. But they open this window. And immediately, this Eldar broke because there was no stimulation whatsoever. And I say great because I hate Eldar. I will go on the record for saying that. I have never and will never start an interest in Eldar. I will probably never read an Eldar book. I don't even like it when they're portrayed in the visual media. They're just not that interesting to me. Couldn't tell you why. I just can't stand them. Like, at least the other Xenos races are kind of fun. Like, Necrons are fun because, I mean, Trazyn, Orican, they're extremely fun characters. Go read Infinite and Divine. It's one of the best 40k books ever written. But also, like, Tau are cool because, I mean, they're visually appealing. They have Gundams and battle mechs. And who doesn't like that? Hey, Cookie Cat, welcome back. Hater. Yes, I'm such a hater. They're in Rogue Trader. You know, I really need to keep playing that. I haven't made it that far at all. I just made it to the part where you meet the Mechanicus dude. And I've been palling around with him for a little while. Trying to fill all these gaps here. Okay. So for anyone who hasn't been in the stream yet, this is a conversion of mine. It was one of the base Astartes from the Heroes box. He was only like 10 or 11 bucks on eBay on the sprue, and I was like, heck yeah. So I got him with the intention of converting him somehow. And so I decided to convert him into a lieutenant with a combi bolter, or combi weapon. Particularly the bolter, with the plasma rifle underneath. And I loved his pose of throwing the smoke grenade. So I wanted to keep that. So I kit bashed I put the bolter in his right hand, and I used this pauldron and this helmet, the beaky helmet from the Mark 6, I believe, power armor, all of which came from the Sternguard veteran box. I've got a squad of Sternguard veterans over there that are already fully painted. And they are from my Sons of Sorrow. But anyway, oh, and I put this, I believe, I want to say it's a communications transmitter. I don't know what it is. It came with the Mark III Horus Heresy kit, and I just put it on this guy. I cut a piece of sprue underneath it to make it fit a little better, and it looks natural now that it's all one color. But he's going to be a lieutenant with combi weapon, which technically I think is supposed to be a Reaver unit, but I didn't have any spare Reaver armor. And there's nothing in the rules or the lore that say he has to be a Reaver, so he's going to be wearing Tacticus. And I also put these dual combat blades on his leg. For one, because there was nowhere else to put it on the model, because he already had all his pouches and stuff pre-molded on, and the pistol and that kind of stuff. So I put it on his legs because I thought that was cool. And then I decided, yeah, he was going to be a lieutenant. And he is a lone operator because that's apparently what the lieutenant with combi weapon is. So he can't lead a unit, but he can go around and he can like buff your objectives and stuff, which is kind of neat. I need some more paint in there. So yeah, he's going to be a cool model of paint. He's going to go with the Terminus Knights because I want them to be a little more hodgepodge and less put together than somebody like my Sons of Sorrow. So yeah, I'm planning on that. And then whenever I get to painting him, he'll have the same scheme. The lieutenants for them, they are not a Codex compliant chapter, so their lieutenants have the white pauldron trim instead of the white and red stripe. Helmet reminds me of a Plague Doctor. Yeah. They use these in the Horus Heresy. I believe it's Mark 6. I could be wrong, but I think that's right. Because the Mark 4 had what looked like the Tacticus helmets. The Mark 5... Where's it Mark 5? It might be Mark 5. Oh, yeah, it's Mark 5. I'm jogging my memory here. Because Mark 6 was like the hodgepodge one. They called it the Heresy armor? Heresy era armor? And it was just covered in binding studs. So yeah, I think this is a Mark 5. The beak part actually holds extra electronics. Like extra computing interfaces and things of that nature. So I assume it has like an augmented Auspex and stuff. Because I think a lot of that stuff comes from the power pack itself. Because it's basically just a running PC on their back, but also a nuclear generator. I don't remember entirely how that works. But yeah. So, it is after 9 o'clock, so I'm going to have to get off of here. I got a lot done. We based all of those Based all those raptors. And we base coated these Blade Guard veterans. Base coated this dude. I was gonna start painting this Terminator, but I didn't get around to it. So he'll go on the shelf, ready to go. And we'll see what I'm feeling like next stream. As far as I know right now, it's going to be Sunday. Sunday evening at some point. I'm not entirely sure at the time, but go subscribe. Go hit that notification bell. If that's your thing, if you care to come back. Welcome back to everyone who joined me on Sunday. This last Sunday. And I hope to see you all again in the next one. Yeah. Thanks for joining. I was going to say something else, and now I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah. Oh, now the viewer count goes up. I was thinking about if, for anyone who's interested, starting a Discord, and if people, since I kind of like homebrew, that's my thing, but also lore, I was thinking about starting it up and seeing if anyone wanted to submit their own homebrews, and maybe we go over it in a stream sometime. I thought about putting polls in there to see what I should paint coming up out of the models that I have for my armies. All the while talking lore, talking homebrew, talking whatever. I can do gaming streams. Probably won't do those as much as painting because I feel a lot better about painting. I feel like I'm getting a lot more done. But if we were to game, we'd probably game a 40k game, naturally, because I have those, and I see a spot that I missed, so I'm going to get that because I can't go without it. So yeah, if anyone has any thoughts on that, I would be here for it. Yeah, I don't have anything set up to do a poll in chat, but y'all can tell me what you think either now or Sunday. So whenever this black paint dries, the patches that I missed really show themselves. So I gotta go through and fix those. They're usually in all the nooks and crannies. We'll just say the stream is wrapping. It's not over. So yeah, subscribe, hit the bell, send me money. I'm kidding. You don't have to do that. That's one thing I'm not going to ask of you. But if you feel so inclined, I won't say no, because inevitably, if you give me anything, it's all going to go back into 40k, or at least making these streams better. So there will likely be nothing personal coming out of it. But I mean, unless you count 40k as something personal. My ADHD is really taking over. I've got plenty of models in the backlog. Sunday? Cool. Cool. I am down for it. Hopefully, if we get this going enough, it will become a regular thing. So every Sunday, probably around the same time. The only reason I'm doing anything tonight is because I wanted to test a few things, try a couple assets out, because I'm not an experienced streamer. I've dabbled in it in the past. It was usually gaming on Twitch, but I like doing YouTube a little better than doing Twitch. That's just my bias. So, yeah. I swear we'll be done as soon as I'm done here. Oops. See, what did I tell you? All the nooks. Could have put this back on my painting handle. But I'm lazy. Also, if you guys like homebrew, and if that's one of the reasons you're here, go check out the Astartes Anonymous podcast, or the YouTube channel. I'm in no way affiliated with them. Be cool, but I'm not. But they do a lot of homebrew stuff. So if you want to do more with that, then that's how I've done a lot of it. Alright, add another coat to this base, and then we'll probably call it good. You want more Baldur's Gate content? I know you do. I also know that I don't have time to edit videos. Especially this time of year, because my work is skyrocketing at the moment. Unless I were to hire an editor, but that takes all the fun out for me because I like editing the videos, I just don't have time for it. Okay, I said I'd be done after that base, but I'm gonna be done after this base. Shut up. Don't judge. Alright, last strokes. Probably come in with I gotta decide what bases first, but probably come up with a dry brushing of some sort over top of this. If I was doing just a straight lava base, I would just dry brush some light gray. But I don't have any room for lava, so it would be volcanic. I would still do the light gray, but alright, so I'm done. Well, this guy needs some more. Okay. Yeah, his base needs some more. That's okay. I don't have a ton left in my palette, but we're gonna make do. And I'm not worried about spilling over on the base because I'm gonna paint the rim of the base anyway. Oh, and this base is kind of cool. The one I cut that I left, there's a little bolt shell right there, and there's the pin to the grenade he's throwing right there. Alright. Okay, cool. Cool. These models are going to sit right here. So we decide what we're going to paint on Sunday. So, thanks everybody. And I will see you all on Sunday.